Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to show you my perspective on the Elder Scrolls Online endgame and what it has to offer for you. I know that elsewhere is right around the corner. However, I do want to cover all aspects of the game, not just that specific chapter that will go live very soon. Now you might ask yourself, why is that still relevant? In this game, everything scales. So content that has been released 3 years ago is still relevant today and very difficult to clear.
I don't know how that's gonna be.
Today I want to give you an example of all the things like trials, an arena, DLC dungeons, Cyrodiil, battlegrounds, the outfit system, or even housing. For me, endgame starts when you do veteran content. There is no specific line on when that exactly happens, but usually...
Wouldn't that mean that like all the in-game content is pretty much flat though? Because if all the content that's been brought out even years ago is on the same difficulty level, like how much vertical progression do you have whenever you're max level?
You will kinda realize or notice when it starts to get more difficult. Things like overland content, story, that's not endgame for me. That's progressing through the main storyline, exploring, and so on. That's still all normal content. Most veteran content has to be done in a group. I know it is a lot to ask to group up and talk to other human beings in 2019, but after all, it is a MMO. Let's start with dungeons. There is a lot of veteran dungeons. The base game ones being a little bit easier, whereas the DLC dungeons are quite difficult to actually crack, especially the hard modes. This is my favorite dungeon called Scalecaller Peak. It was released with the Dragon Bones DLC. Here we are trying to clear hard mode. In this hard mode specifically, you have to make sure to avoid a lot of the AoE attacks on the ground. Do not stand too close to the boss. There's a lot of movement involved. You need to swap targets if there is ads that pop up. You need to make sure that you keep up your rotation, which a lot of new players have problems with, because if you don't have a good rotation, your group will lose so much DPS, and then there is also some burn phases. If you don't have enough DPS, the group will wipe. Healers also need to make sure to be positioned correctly to apply buffs to the group to heal them, and the tank needs to make sure to keep the boss somewhere where everybody can attack him, make sure that all debuffs are applied, and so on. The veteran content is way more difficult than the normal content, so if you have already cleared a dungeon on normal mode, that doesn't compare in anything whatsoever to a veteran dungeon, or even so to a veteran dungeon hard mode. Before we continue, I want to talk about character progression. Your first big milestone is 160 champion points, because that is where the gear is kept. It does not go higher, and the devs have not increased that value in forever, because it doesn't make any sense, because everything scales, right? So items that I have created 3 years ago are still viable today. They might not be the best of the best, but I can still use it and clear 90% of the content. Next up, we have 300 champion points, because that is where you will stop gaining extra resources from champion points. Also fairly easy to reach, and then we go up to 500 and 810, where it gets slower and slower.
Is 810
the reason
the
why
max?
that is important is because the champion system increases the power of your character. The blue tree is here for increased damage, then the green tree more sustain, and the red tree is more damage mitigation in general. So it's a very interesting and complex system. Next up, we do have arenas that you need to conquer with a group of 4. You might ask yourself, what's the difference between a dungeon and the arena? Arenas have a stage system, so you need to progress through stage 1 to stage 5, or stage 1 to stage 10. And they do have leaderboards, so you can compete against other teams. You want to be faster than the other team. You want to have less deaths, because all that stuff
you're playing against other people.
Your total score at the end of the arena. The arena also has a normal and a veteran version. Both, when you manage to complete them, will give you some special gear, like Black Rose weapons or master weapons, for example. However, if you manage to clear it on veteran mode, your weapons will be slightly stronger compared to the normal mode. And now the one thing no player should miss out on, the all-famous Maelstrom Arena. This is the toughest solo veteran content that you will get in this game. You again progress through 9 different stages up till the end boss, and there is some really juicy loot at the end. There is once again leaderboards if you want to compete against other players. One more thing, you will die a lot in the Veteran Maelstrom Arena. That's just how it is. Please do not punch your computer, display, or the keyboard.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen to me.
It is not their fault that you have a hard time progressing through that arena.
Alright.
Next up, we do have trials. These are 12-man raids, and there is full and mini trials. In the full trials, you usually have several bosses.
So I guess that's really like, so like right here is like the raid frames, right? And this like tells you like what everybody's health is at and all that. I'm pretty sure. Smash that in the keyboard in? No, I'm not going to head smash.
There's trash packs and all that stuff you're used to in other MMOs. Again, there is normal, veteran, and if you want to choose, you can choose hard mode at the last boss if you really want it even more difficult. Mini trials are a little bit different. You can decide on your own how you want to scale the difficulty. There is not really any trash packs, but usually there is side bosses on the left and right side. And either you can go directly to the main boss and fight the main boss together with the side bosses, or you can first go kill the side bosses and...
Alright, we'll look at this whenever we get to max level. It's just going on for a while. Like, I get it, I'm not going to watch the whole video, right? I don't know what the hell any of this stuff is, and I don't want to try to figure everything out right now, okay?